there, memory keepers. My name is Sherry Roth from Stamped Treasures, and I'm excited to be participating in my very first YouTube hop. It's called the 31 Days of Spooky Scraps YouTube hop, organized by Erica, also known as California Lucky. So today is day 23, and the prompt is stamping, which is the perfect prompt for me. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Canada, and I love to use stamps in my scrapbooks and combine them with other products as well. So I will have all of the links for everybody who's participating in the description below. So be sure to check out all of their amazing ideas and layouts that have been shared so far, and there's still more to come for the rest of the month. All right, so first of all, I'm going to share what I plan on using for today's layout. My photo is just a 4x4, well, just slightly smaller than 4x4 photo, printed with a white border. I just trimmed the white border down to about a 1/16 of an inch. And I've got some scraps. I've got a piece of old olive cardstock that has been embossed. This was just in my scrap bin, so I pulled that out. This is a piece of Bumblebee patterned paper from Stampin' Up's World of Good pattern paper pack. This is a piece of Echo Park Celebrate Autumn. This is from 2018, I believe. It's just a scrap that I had, and the colors work perfectly. And then I pulled out this sticker sheet. This is also, I think, oh, this is Cartabella called Fall Break. And I plan on using a couple elements from here, but primarily I'm going to focus on stamps. So I'm going to set that aside. I've also got a piece of Whisper White cardstock, which is going to be my base. And then the stamps that I've chosen to use today is this stamp called Gather Together, which has some coordinating dies. This is going to be the perfect stamp set for this photo. And then the Labeler Alphabet, which is going to help me create my title. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do, let me set these aside here, is we're going to stamp our background. So I'm going to set all of this aside. I'm going to bring in just a scrap piece of paper just to protect my table. And I am going to use, the first color is Cajun Craze. So this is kind of a rusty kind of color, or a Cajun kind of color. And I'm going to stamp all around the border. Okay, next up I'm going to choose Bumblebee, which is a beautiful yellow color. And I'm going to take the wheat image from that same stamp set and add it around my border. And then I'm going to use some pumpkin pie. So all these ink pads are from Stampin' Up. Okay, and then the last one that I'm going to do for my border is some soft suede, and I'm going to use this speckled image and just add some speckles, just kind of filling in some of these gaps. Okay, and then I want to give it just a bit more of a distressed look. So I'm going to use a sponge with some of that soft suede look and just sponge around the edges. Okay, so my background is done. I love how it turned out. Now what I'm going to do is I have this big long piece of ribbon. This was wrapped around a blanket that we received as a gift. And it is such a nice ribbon. It's nice and thick. It's beautiful. I couldn't just throw it away. I had to keep it. So we are actually going to stamp on it. So I'm going to use the same, I've got a piece of it here. I'm going to use the same stamps. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rub some of the ink on it just to give it a bit more of a distressed look. So I'm just taking some of that brown ink and my sponge and adding some distressed, just so it's not quite so crisp. You can see that this is where I tested it to see if it would work. Okay, now I'm going to use the same colors and the same stamps and just stamp on this. All right, so let me bring that up a little closer so that you can see. It works perfectly. So that would need to dry. So what I did was I went ahead and I did a piece earlier and set it aside to dry. And I stamped both sides, so you can see that both sides are done, and wrapped a piece of linen thread around and to cinch it up and just tied a bow. So that's going to be, I think that's going to be an accent on my page. Okay. So now let's get to our layout here. Okay, so I really wanted to pull in the yellow and orange. This was the only scrap that I had. So I'm just going to figure out which way will work best here. Okay, so now what I've done is I've taken some of the elements from this fall break sticker sheet, and there were a few words down the side, and I really wanted to create kind of a look so that it looked like kind of one of those directional signs. So I cut a piece of cardstock, of soft suede cardstock, and I pointed the tip, and then I kind of put those words kind of a little bit of skew, and this is going to go down here like this. So let's add some adhesive to this. So just like that. And then I can trim off the end. Okay, and I think that's going to go somewhere around there, but I want to figure out where my embellishment clusters are going to go. Okay, so I've got this little dish of some of the elements that I've stamped and cut out. So I've cut the wheat, I've stamped the same color ink, so the bumblebee ink, onto bumblebee cardstock. And so I've got 3 of those. I've got a Cajun Craze leaf, so one of those that I think is going to go over there. And then I've got some of these leaves, and look at the detail on these leaves. So this is also from that same die set that I shared at the beginning of the video. And you don't need to stamp it first, you can just cut it out, and it gives the detail of the leaves on there. So I've got 3 of those, thinking one will go up here. And then I've also stamped some pumpkins. Okay, so I want to do a little cluster down here. I've gone ahead and I've sponged around the edges on all of these as well. So I'm just going to play a fuss around with these a little bit till I get the look that I want. Oh, I also have this ribbon as well. Might be too much with the ribbon. Okay, let's stick this down. I think the ribbon might be too much. I loved the idea of using the ribbon, but I think it's too much. Oh, unless we put it this way. No, I think I'll save that for a different project. I really wanted to use that ribbon, but it's just not gonna work. So I still have these, but I want to work on my title. So I've got, let's see here. Okay, so I've got Octobers. So my title is going to be, I'm so glad I live in a world where there are Octobers. And I've gone ahead and I've stamped some of the words that I want a little bit of emphasis on. And then I'm going to hand write the rest of the words. Okay, so now for this embellishment cluster, maybe I'll do one up here. Okay, and then I want to bring in a bit of texture. So I'm just going to take some linen thread and tie a bow. And add it to each one of my pumpkins. Okay. So I'm just going to have a look at this sticker sheet and just see if there's anything else I want to pop in here. Try this. Kind of gets covered over just a little bit too much. I really like that contrast in there though. You know what? I'm going to add it in. Okay. Just use a couple dimensionals on here. So I don't like, I want to make sure that that awkward green isn't showing. And I think it's pretty Even though you can't see the word days there, I think it's pretty obvious what it says, so I think it works. I'll just curl that up a little bit more, give it a bit more dimension, and make it a little bit easier to read that word. Okay, let's see what else here. I do like these little acorns too. They're super cute. There's a third set there if I wanted to repeat it, but it's in a circle. I think that's good. I think I'm happy with that. All right, so I think that is it for today. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope maybe you learned something new. I really wish I could have incorporated this, but who knows, maybe you'll see it on a future layout. I really like how it turned out, but it's just too much of the same. All right, so thanks so much for watching. Enjoy checking out the other videos that are part of the 31 days of spooky scraps. All right, take care. Thanks for watching.